So welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. I'll just quickly introduce myself. My name is Marie Laenen and I am a registered nurse here in Canada. And so thank you again for joining us. This presentation is going to take roughly about 30 minutes, sometimes a few minutes more, a few minutes less. And I have a beautiful co-host here and she's going to quickly introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Sherry Wright, and I'm also a registered nurse, and I'm so excited. I just got my second tower garden in the mail yesterday, so love these. Yeah.
So thank you for joining us tonight to talk about tower gardens. And as we go through the presentation, feel free to put any questions you have in the chat, and we'll answer them after. We'll have about 15 minutes for questions, and any questions you have, we would love to help you answer. So a tower garden, who are they for? This is the best part, everybody. They're for everyone. So on one side, you can see my 70-year-old dad, and he actually broke his back a few years ago. And he's really has a hard time crouching and kneeling. So this tower garden has been such a blessing because that's something that he loved, but he just wasn't able to rototill his garden and to weed and to water as easily. So this is for him, but it's also for, on the other side of the screen, my 8-year-old daughter. She actually, and you can see my 10-year-old son peeking in there too, munching. She actually planted this garden, and my 2 children put this tower garden together. They assembled it. It's that easy. So she is quite excited because she understands growing now. So again, this is really for everyone. And this here is my soil garden. And so I look at this with a little bit of relief that I don't have to do my soil garden as much anymore, but my husband is an avid gardener. He loves to garden. And so when I told him that I was getting a tower garden, he was like, no, you don't help enough with the garden. You don't water, you don't weed, blah, 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 blah. And I said, this will be different. And he said, no, it won't be. Well, I'll tell you what, this garden really is for everyone, because me, who killed every plant, can now successfully garden. So I wasn't great at the soil garden, but I had a lot of success with the tower garden. We'll talk more about that. But for my husband, he was really a skeptic. And now that we have 3 tower gardens, he loves them just as much as I do. So you can think big, or you can think just 1 or 2 towers. I started with 1 tower and it quickly became 2, and then it became 3. I know Sherry just got her 2nd tower, because you start to grow and then you just love it. You love having live plants there. This is my friend Nicole Scott. She actually had a 16 tower garden farm. So you can really, think any way that's going to suit your life. So I'm going to play a short video for you, but I'll just give you some context. So this is Tim Blank. He's the inventor of Tower Garden, and he's quite an inventive entrepreneur and quite dedicated to growing. So it's his journey. It just kind of tells about it. It's about 6 minutes long, and it is just incredible to watch how the Tower Garden came to be.
Well, I grew up in western North Dakota, and if you've ever been to western North Dakota, you'll know that it's a place often referred to as God's country, because it's a place where the bison still roam free, and agriculture dominates the landscape. And I guess that's where the seed of agriculture started in me. Growing up in a family with 5 siblings, we didn't get to take a vacation every summer, but by the time I was in high school, my family had the opportunity to take a vacation to Walt Disney World, and if you can imagine what an experience that was. And out of all the 4 theme parks at the Walt Disney World Resort in Florida, the one that really stood out with me was Epcot, because Epcot was the place of the future. It was very inspirational to see all the different nationalities working together and all the different technologies, and the place that stood out the most to me was a special ride at Epcot called the Land. It was an hour-long backstage behind-the-scenes tour where they grew food crops from all over the world hydroponically. The thing I loved most about that backstage tour at the Land was it inspired me. I knew in that moment what I was going to go to school for and what I was going to do with the rest of my life. So I went and got a degree in horticulture, and eventually I came back to work as an advanced intern at Walt Disney World. I was very blessed to get an internship at the Land at Epcot. Thousands of people applied for that position, and they only selected 10. And used that opportunity to grow and develop my skills in hydroponic food production. And long after my day was ended, I volunteered and the various horticultural disciplines like plant pathology, entomology, biotechnology to learn everything I could about hydroponic food production and this technology, because even though I didn't have a master's degree in these various research disciplines, these doctors saw the potential in me and hired me on after my internship to conduct high-end scientific research with both NASA and the Department of Energy right there at the Land at Epcot. Well, during that first 7 years at the Land, I had an opportunity to learn just about everything that related to hydroponic and aeroponic food production. I got to learn about beneficial insects, microorganisms, plant pathology, biotechnology, and allowed me to move into greenhouse operations manager of the entire Land greenhouse facility in 2000, and I kept that position until 2005. In retrospect, I think it was those 12 years with the Walt Disney World Company that gave me the wisdom and the experience to go out and do something on my own. In 2005, I felt like that was a great opportunity to launch Future Growing, which was a company that would take very similar technologies and make them available for everybody, whether they be a commercial grower or for an individual homeowner who wanted to grow food right in their own backyard. So over the earlier years at the company, we developed the world's first patented vertical aeroponic technology called the Tower Garden. The Tower Garden can grow everything from a head of lettuce to an edible herb to a beautiful beefsteak tomato. And the idea was that every single crop that a homeowner would want to grow could be done right in the comfort of their own backyard. On the commercial side of our vertical aeroponic food production business, we've set up many urban and rooftop farms around the country, and even in many cases had some of the world's first of its kinds. For example, going back to 2009, we had the world's first certified green building with aquaponic and aeroponic food production on the roof. In 2010, we opened Manhattan's first aeroponic roof-to-table food farm that supported the restaurant down below. And now in 2011, at the Chicago O'Hare Airport, we opened the world's very first aeroponic food farm in an airport terminal, and all that food is used to feed many of the 67 restaurants at the O'Hare Airport. This dream I had that was rooted all the way back to my childhood about doing something for humanity, finding a better way of growing food, is finally coming to fruition. Seeing these projects come alive excites me more than it ever did, and I have a hard time sleeping at night. I can't wait to get that next aeroponic Tower Garden project out there. So living life to the plus is living your passion. I wake up every single day doing what I love to do, and that is helping people grow fresh, healthy food right in their own backyard.
Such an inspiration.
Mm.
Okay, so let's talk about why you would use a tower garden. And so these are all the things I had to explain to my husband, and now he's on board. So we really need to think about the depleting quality of the soil and the food that we're eating. It's being shipped from, so not just our soil, but the food is actually being shipped from Mexico to our grocery store. And a lot of times right after it's cut, it keeps losing nutrients as it goes. So we may not see a vegetable until it arrives, 4 weeks later or 2 weeks later, and it's lost a lot of its nutrient quality. And same with the soil. Our soil is not as safe and nutritious as it was 50 years ago. And we know that. And the soil regulations in other countries where we're buying food from, they may not even have regulations. So we need to kind of think more about, where does our food come from? Which leads us to the herbicides and pesticides. A tower garden doesn't need to have herbicides and pesticides. I don't know how many times I threw out lettuce or spinach because there was E. coli or salmonella scares. And I can tell you, I'm a pediatric nurse by trade. And yeah, we would have children come in with feeling like they were sick from these things. So that's really important, and that build up over time too. We don't know the effects, right? Because a lot of these are just started using. So we need to kind of start thinking about that. So how is Tower Garden different? Well, it saves 98% of water. So I know in Canada and the US that we're having problems with water shortages in a lot of states and a lot of provinces. And I think that's really important to mention because I don't know how many times I couldn't water my lawn because there's a water ban or my garden. And with this, you're using 98% less water. So, for example, I have my tower garden. I water it about once a month. Like I can do that, guys. I can do once a month. I can do once a month anything, right? So that's something to think about too. If you have it outside, you'll be watering it a little bit more, but not as much as a soil garden. So with food costs, we've all seen it. COVID hit, and look what happened. Our grocery store prices started to rise. They'll probably rise even more this fall because a lot of farmers weren't able to actually plant full crops because they weren't able to bring in temporary foreign workers to plant the crops. So we're going to see increased food costs in the grocery store. But if you have a tower, you're not going to see that because your food cost is actually never increasing, right? You're growing your own food. So, being Canadian, this is probably the biggest thing that I love is that I can grow all winter long. So in Canada here, the growing season is really short. It's from March until September, basically, maybe October if you're lucky. And that's not very long. So this, I can bring my garden inside and it could be snowing outside and we could be drinking hot chocolate and singing Christmas carols. And there is my tower looking beautiful and green. So these are all some of the things that you want to think about when you're thinking about a tower garden. And one more thing about the tower garden nutrients. This was a concern for me being a nurse. I wanted to know what the heck am I putting in? Well, you'll be happy to know it's all natural, inorganic, ionic minerals from deep in the earth. So those are things like nitrogen and phosphorus that naturally occur in the soil. So that's all that is in the nutrient solution. Okay, here's me, guys. I went on vacation in the summer. I went away for 2 weeks. On the one side is my garden looking like it's dead because it is. I forgot to get somebody to water it. And on the other side is my luscious tower garden. And I can't tell you enough how joyous it is to come back and see that even though nobody took care of your plants, they're still alive, and to walk out to the garden in the back and see that it is not alive and that all that weeding that I helped with in May and June was for nothing.
We have a short video here that goes through how the tower garden works. So here we go.
Tower Garden's state-of-the-art aeroponic vertical garden system uses both water and air to produce more colorful, better-tasting, and incredibly nutritious fruits, vegetables, and herbs. Tower Garden has a 20-gallon reservoir at its base that stores the Tower Tonic nutrient solution. Developed by experts in plant and human nutrition, Tower Tonic Mineral Blend enables superior plant growth and better nutrition from your Tower Garden produce. The process begins once the seedlings have been placed in your tower garden. Here they will be nourished with Tower Tonic nutrient solution. Inside the reservoir is a small, low-wattage submersible pump. The pump pushes the nutrient solution up through the tower to the top. From there, the nutrient solution drips through the central tower using a special device that evenly cascades the solution over the exposed plant roots. On the journey down the tower, the nutrient solution feeds the roots and becomes highly oxygenated as it cascades gently down the reservoir. This process is continuous, providing fresh oxygen, water, and nutrients to the roots of the plants. This patented aeroponic process enables food crops to grow faster than they would in soil, so they can be harvested more often. And it makes Tower Garden the healthier, easier, smarter way to grow your produce.
Just love that animation. It's better than we could ever explain how it works. So the garden that was shown in that animation is called the Flex, and the one here is actually in Marie's living room, and it's the home garden. So there are a few little differences that we'll talk about. but there's tons of benefits for using a tower garden within your home. It's soil free. That means there's no getting dirty. I hate gardening. I've never done a garden before in my life because I kill everything. Everything, even the things that they say are super hardy, this girl kills it. So, and it doesn't, you don't get your hands dirty. There's lots of people that love getting dirty and in the soil, and I'm not one of those people. So I absolutely love that about the tower garden. These fit, so the base wide, that roundest part at the bottom there is about 2 feet wide. And when you put the lights on it, it maybe is 3 feet wide. So it can fit anywhere. It can fit on a balcony. It can fit, I'm in my office right now, and I have mine in the corner of my office, in the corner of your kitchen, on a balcony, wherever you can put it, it will fit. You can grow many fruits and vegetables, herbs. This indoor unit has 32 spots on it for planting. So the very top, there's smaller ports for microgreens, absolutely amazing. It grows 10%, uses 10%, uses less than 10% of the nutrients and water. It produces crops in a third of the time. Within a couple weeks, you're eating off of this thing. And that plastic is really, really important, that we can be moving that indoors and outdoors. It's not going to be exposed to the same and be damaged by heat like some plastic. So it's actually safe for us to consume. And they're durable. They last about 25 years. So you know how when you leave water or a plastic in the sun and it starts to deteriorate and break down, you will not have this. This is completely food grade. You're not going to have the plastic seeping into the water, therefore into your produce. It's completely safe. And like Marie said at the beginning, her daughter and her children like to plant. My children are the exact same way. My children, and they become involved with the growing, right? And they're going to be more engaged, and it's a lot of fun. My kids come down and pick off of it all the time, all the time. It's amazing. So you can grow just about anything. Use your imagination. There are some exceptions. Anything that needs to grow underground or in dirt, like root vegetables, potatoes, carrots, etc., you can't grow in the garden. But anything else, because these can go indoors and out, so you can have the lights, whatever your heart desires. If you're new to gardening, like myself, who kills everything, stick to the more like the lettuces, the spinach, the herbs. I have a lot of microgreens growing on mine, but you can see Marie's daughter there. She just has so much joy with these gardens. It's just beautiful. So these are the, you can grow your seedlings from starter. You can pop them right in, but how it comes in, your tower garden will come with everything that you need to grow. If you can see them, they're these little tiny, they're called rockwool. And this is where you start your seedlings in. So they'll grow into there and you can pop them right into your garden, or you can just plant right into your tower garden. It's completely up to you. At first, I just put everything in my tower garden, and now I'm getting more comfortable with it. It's been about 2 months, and I'm already starting to grow on the side and start cycling through as plants kind of come and go. And when I ordered my second garden, I got the seedlings growing already. So these are the 2 different types of tower gardens. On the left, you see the tower garden home, and the one on the right is the tower garden flex. And my garden is going off right now. If you hear water going, that's my garden going. And the lights can be attached to either one. They both can be indoors and outdoors. So just a reminder, 98% less water, 90% less space than traditional outdoor gardens, 30% more crop because it does use less space, 3 times faster, it's safe and nutritious. And the University of Mississippi did this study that compared the best quality soil compared to the produce, and grew produce and compared it to produce grown in the tower garden, and they were both equally nutritious, because there have been some questions about the quality and how nutritious the produce is grown off of the gardens, and this study found it to be equally nutritious. And I don't know about you, but I know I don't have the best quality soil in my garden, so this was using the best quality, so probably more nutritious if you're using the soil in my yard. Okay, Marie.
All right. So I really think this is important to stress because I think when commercial farmers and urban farmers are willing to invest thousands, if not millions of dollars into something, it speaks to the quality. So we have several commercial farms and urban farms going up all across the United States, and there's a few here and coming in Canada. Canada's been a little bit not as fast to get there because there's a huge benefit in the States with the water shortages and the weather being so hot. But I think we're starting to see it across Canada too. So this is one example of a commercial and urban farm, and we'll show you some other ones here too. So this is Altius Farms in Colorado, and this is actually the largest tower garden farm. It has hundreds of towers, and as you can see, it's just magnificent. I can't imagine what it smells like in there because my one tower just knocks me down. It's so beautiful smelling. So there is one in Canada called Molly's Acres. It's in the Ontario region. And so there are more popping up though. There are other ones. This is just one that we kind of showcase. They do sell seedlings for the people who are not confident in their mothering seed skills.
So this speaks to the variety of uses that the tower garden has. So it can be used for residential use or consumer. Like the videos that were shown too, there's a the farm to feed all of those restaurants within the Chicago airport. So it can go in your backyard, it can go on a rooftop, it can go to your cottages or your vacation homes. Within wellness spas, that really sky's the limit in terms of how you want to use this. And right now in Marie's husband's school, he works within an Indigenous school, and they have a tower garden, and they're growing spiritual plants in there. So to help bring awareness to the children that go to that school, going back to their culture, I just think that's absolutely amazing. And that's right here in Lethbridge. So within communities and schools, I jumped ahead there talking about Marie's husband, but this just speaks to the heart of the company. Every single YMCA has, the company donates a tower garden to the YMCA so that they can have those within their programs and help their students learn. And there's lots of areas where the schools, and there's curriculum, Boys and Girls Club, sorry, I said YMCA, Boys and Girls Club, the tower gardens are donated. But it really brings life to retirement homes for seniors who have spent a lot of time gardening and they just physically can't anymore, right? But just there's a lot of curriculum for teachers if they want to bring this in. There's lots of fundraising opportunities. The company really supports the use of these in multiple different facets.
And I just want to add really quick about the curriculum, just really quick. When COVID hit, that was really nice because I actually had a curriculum that I could use with my children. And so this curriculum isn't just for teachers, it's for homeschooling too. And as a nurse, I know like, oh no, COVID is hitting again with the flu season. We're not going to know what's what. So I anticipate that it could be totally likely that I'll have to be using that curriculum again.
Right, it's just amazing. So this is the Tower Garden Flex. So it comes with everything that you need to grow, and you can see the little openings there for the plants are larger plants. So when you order a tower garden, it has everything that you need to grow. If you are planning, obviously now, depending where you live, you'll have to add on the lights, especially where we are in Canada. We need to add on the lights for growing, but it comes with the tonic blends, it comes with seeds, it comes with that rock wool, everything to adjust the water. You just have to set it up, and Marie's children set up her last one, and you're ready to grow. So this is the Tower Garden Home. This one came out just this year to make it a little bit smaller and more portable, to have in the corner of your kitchen or in the corner of your living room, depending where you can set it up. You can see this one has wheels on it, so you can move it around easier, and it is smaller and more compact. If you notice the plants coming out of the top of this one, there's 2 small layers on the top, and those are for more herbs, microgreens. They're a bit smaller. There's 16 of those ports, and then on the bottom there are 16 larger ports there for plants. Anyone, no one here from US? We'll skip to the Canadian prices.
I think Kim might be. So
Oh.
yeah, so we'll go through the US pricing just so that you have an idea. So US and Canadian prices are a tiny bit different, but it's $51.67 for the Tower Garden Flex per month for 12 months, and then you own it. So you don't have to pay after that. It's an interest-free, so you can either pay it all up front or you can pay on an interest-free 12-month plan or 4-month plan. Then we have the Tower Garden Home, and and that is $55.83 per month for 12 months. And again, same thing, you don't have to pay after that 12 months. And to get the indoor lighting, it's $32 per month. And then if you want to get really big, you can get the Tower Garden family of 3. So I know some people with teenagers, they really get that because they can go through a lot. I have an 18-year-old nephew living with me right now, and my Tower Garden looks pretty munched down. But okay, so for the Tower Garden Flex in Canada, it's $62.50 per month for 12 months. And then you add tax. And then for the home, it's $67.50 per month for the 12 months. And then if you want lights, it's another $32 per month. And then you can see that there is the trio for $195.84 for 12 months, or if you want to get really big, $627 per month for 12 for the garden. And lots of times that's through grants and things that people do that. All right, I just love this company. It really speaks to me because it's all about health and nutrition, and it really values children. As a pediatric nurse, I can't emphasize how important that is to me. It is also not a flash in the pan company. This is a company that's been around since 1970, so 50 years of helping people and inspiring health. I think that is really important. So they have such a focus line of plant powder capsules that you take, or shakes, or omegas, plant-based omegas, and I think it's a really nice pairing with the Tower Garden. So if you're interested in learning more, just ask the person who invited you. And then this again is just like the company. It's all about one simple change. These are really high quality plant powders that really can be life-changing for people. So again, ask the person who brought you more about the company. And we invite you to join us. This company is all about inspiring healthy living. I think it can't be said any better than that. It's just about having a small focus and one simple change at a time. So my first simple change was a Tower Garden, and I just love this company. So you can start by becoming a Juice Plus customer. If you want access to discounts like how you have with a Costco membership, there are some different avenues. So talk to the person who invited you. There's also the opportunity to have a side income doing this. So that's something else. If you're in the market and looking, again, just talk to the person who invited you. All right, this is the most exciting part. Which garden is right for you? Go ahead, Sherry.
Oh, so the one thing we did touch on is the Tower Garden Flex. The main difference is that the base is a bit wider, and it has the ability, if you remember from some of the slides, that it has the ability to put cage on it for the bigger, heavier vegetables, like tomatoes and squashes and that. So just depends what you kind of want to grow on it. Keep in mind, unless you're an avid gardener and know how to pollinate, we wanted to stay away from plants that would need that pollination if you're growing indoors.
Yeah, because indoors you can grow really well indoors, but yeah, some of those fruiting plants that need bees, most people don't want to invite the bees in their house. But so there are some big differences, like the Tower Garden Home has wheels. You can add wheels onto the Tower Garden Flex. The Tower Garden home also has a float and some minor differences and some aesthetic differences. So just follow up with whoever asked you to come and they can explain them more thoroughly. But that's kind of them side by side. And which one do you think would look best in your home? And where would you put it?
Yes, that's the key. Or where'd you, yeah. Mhm.
I didn't think I had space. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh yeah, I got to get more.
You'll find the space.
Yeah. And so are you ready to start growing your own food? We're excited about you learning more about these. So thank you so much for coming. And we welcome any questions. And we'll stop the recording in case anyone's shy to ask questions. But thank you again for coming.